Hello and welcome to Get Decked, the video series where I make budget Magic the Gathering decks for your casual games night and to help introduce friends and family members to the game. We're carrying on with the Foundations deck that we started last time with the cat deck, and this time we're moving on. We're going to do a black-red deck called Relentless Raiders. So let's take a look at that. So remind ourselves of the rules for Get Decked first. So these decks are 60 cards. They're designed for 1v1 games. We're only using Foundations cards for these decks, mostly commons and uncommons. No cards that cost more than $2 at time recording. We limit ourselves to 12 different non-land cards for a good mix of variety and consistency. Strong themes and low to mid complexity, so it's easy for a new player or a more casual player to pick up and just play and have a good time. But just because it's a casual deck doesn't mean the deck has to be weak or bad. So let's dive in. Let's look at the actual deck. So we're going to have 24 creatures, 2 enchantments, 10 instants, 24 land. We've got a mana curve off to the side there. So as a quick reminder for how we do these Get Decked videos, I talk about how we're winning. So this is the actual win condition, which in this case is going to be attacking with a whole bunch of creatures. It's black-red aggro. What helps us win, which is kind of ways to support the win condition, so like buff spells, card draw, that kind of stuff. And what stops them winning, which is stuff we can do to interact with our opponent and kind of mess up their plans. Disclaimer as well, this is all theory crafted. I've not actually built this deck or tested it out. This is all just in theory. It's all hypothetical. By all means, don't take this as verbatim. It's here just as an idea, as a prompt to springboard your own deck building ideas. So first we're going to talk about how we're winning. So as I said, it's black-red aggro, and in Foundations, the black-red archetype was raid. Even though there wasn't actually that many raid triggers amongst black and red cards, but there's enough, just to kind of push you towards obviously going black-red aggro and just kind of attacking and being aggressive. And it's kind of interesting. I like raid as a keyword, so yeah, I was really excited to see it again. So we're going to have 3 Alicia, who laughs at fate. Really, really happy that Alicia got another card, because I really like Alicia, who smiles at death. So to see her story continue and her to get a new card. I guess this is like maybe looking towards the Tarkir set that's coming next year, I suppose. I don't know, maybe we'll see Alicia again there. Anyway. 1 black and red for a 2/2 with first strike. Whenever Alicia attacks, she gets a +1/+1 counter, and then she has the raid ability. So raid is not technically a keyword; it's more like an ability word. It's like reminder, just a shorthand way. So raid is at the beginning of your end step. If you have attacked this turn, you get some sort of benefit. Now you don't have to have attacked with Alicia herself. You can attack with just anything, which is really, really nice. So it makes it so it does mean you can get this effect the turn you play Alicia if you attack with something else, because obviously she hasn't got haste, she can't attack the turn you play her. But yeah, it just means you can have this kind of constant extra value, and Alicia's effect is really, really good. So at the beginning of your end step, if you've attacked this turn, you return a creature card with mana value less than or equal to Alicia's power from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can do this, the turn that she gets played, you can get something that died with mana value 2 or less back. She starts attacking, she starts getting counters. Her power starts going up. She's then a nightmare for the opponent to deal with because her power's going up and she's got first strike. So she's, a problem to deal with anyway. And then as her power goes up, then she can reanimate better stuff anyway. I think we top off at like 4 or 5. I think in the mana curve. So she doesn't need really that much to. That many counters to be able to to get back anything. It's not reanimate, it is just like a raised dead effect, but it's a really, really strong effect. So you don't have to attack with Alicia herself. If you don't want to risk it, you can just keep her on the back lines and just keep attacking and just kind of keep reanimating cheap stuff. Really, really strong effect. Really, really like Alicia. In fact, you could probably argue to push to have a full playset of 4 if you really, really liked it. And then we've got 2 Garner, Bloodfist of Keld, 1 black and double red for a 4/3. Whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking, which is really nice way of, it gives even sort of like little chump token creatures, which we've got a few of in the deck, value when they die because, you get to draw. Otherwise, they deal 1 damage to each opponent. So Garner is also really, really good. Our two aggro queens here, I think. So yeah, Garner just giving all your creatures this kind of like death trigger to either draw you a card or to burn opponents. Really, really good, I think. And being a 4/3 as well, obviously just nice aggressive stats. Really, really like both these legendary creatures in this deck here. Right, and then we've got 3 Seer Slicer Goblins, 1 a red for a 2/1. Raid, at the beginning of your end step, if you've attacked this turn, you create a 1/1 red Goblin creature token, which you can obviously then attack with that, and, start getting raid bonuses from just swinging with, like, a little Goblin. The thing is, that one goblin swings, you've attacked with it, it triggers the next one, so Sear Slicer then poops out another one. Again, like Alicia, because it's quite frail with only one toughness, you can just, it doesn't need to have attacked itself, you can just leave this one back and, you know, just swing with the tokens it creates and just kind of just have an endless like conveyor belt of little goblins coming out. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Really like Sear Slicer Goblin. And again, it's one of these little tokens to say, because it doesn't need to attack, it doesn't need to have, you know, the attacking creature doesn't need to have survived. As long as you have attacked, you get the raid trigger, which I think is just really, I really like it. So yeah, 3 Sear Slicers. And then 2 High Society Hunters. I think this might be the most expensive thing at 5. So 3 in double black for a 5/3 of flying. So nice, big, aggressive, evasive creature anyway. Whenever it attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. And whenever another non-token creature dies, draw a card. So obviously goes really, really nicely with Alicia, because you can just, you know, eat a cheap creature, attack with this, you know, because, you know, you have to be attacking with it to get its trigger. You know, sack one of the other cheap creatures we've got, like Sanguine Siphoner, which we're going to look at in a minute. It gets a counter, become even bigger, even more threatening. You draw a card, and then end turn you've attacked with it, and then if you've got Alicia out, Alicia's going to get it back anyway, and then you play it, and you just keep doing that. So yeah, again, you could easily argue, I think, of having more copies of High Society Hunter, because I think it just goes so nicely with what the deck's doing, and with Alicia as well. And they've got 4 Sanguine Siphoners, so 1 black for 1/3. Whenever it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Again, it's one of these nice attack triggers, which we usually see on like kind of little common black creatures like this, where it's just a nice attack trigger. It doesn't need to get through, it doesn't need to deal combat damage, it's just when it attacks, you know, you just get the life loss effect. So yeah, I used to really like Pulse Tracker back in the day, original Zendikar days. So yeah, this is almost like a strict upgrade, and like having 3 toughness is actually kind of okay as well. If, you know, if you don't want to be attacking with it, if you do need to be defensive, like 3 toughness is not terrible. So we're going to talk about what helps us win. So we've already had, you know, Garner and the High Society Hunter give us some card draw, but we've got some other effects as well. So we've got 3 Battlesong Berserkers, 3 in red for a 3/4. Whenever you attack, it doesn't have to be Battlesong Berserker, it's just whenever you attack in general, you give a creature +1/+0 game and give it Menace in turn 10, which makes it harder to block. You know, put that on the High Society Hunter, or I mean, literally anything on Alicia. Then Alicia's got First Strike and Menace, and is just then a complete nightmare to deal with. Yeah, this is really nice. I really like Battlesong Berserker. I like that it doesn't have to attack itself. So again, you can get the benefit the turn you play it, because it can't swing because it hasn't got haste. I really like this kind of shift in, you know, it's just in sort of design where it's like it's whenever you attack, not whenever this creature attacks or anything like that. So yeah, I really like Battlesong Berserker. I think it's quite a nice repeatable effect for, you know, only 4 mana. It's like it's a decent sized creature on its own anyway. Right, and then 4 Frenzied Goblins, who, you know, kind of hot take, might be one of the more important creatures there, because 1 red for 1/1. So perfect kind of sacrifice and revival fodder with High Society Hunter and, you know, and with Alicia as well. It has an ability, whenever it attacks, you can pay 1 red. And if you do, target creature can't block this turn. And this is actually a reprint from original Ravnica, when it was actually, you know, pretty good back then as well. And I think it's still sort of held up today, honestly. Yeah, it's just that ability is pretty good. I mean, you can only do it once. You know, because of the way the ability is formatted. But it's really nice, you know, it's, you know, back in the day, you sort of like, you know, back in original Ramp days, we read and be like, oh, okay, so it can't block the Frenzied Goblin. It's like, no, it can't block at all, which is really nice, getting a big blocker out of the way, and then letting all your kind of smaller, more aggressive black-red creatures get through, and like, you know, just remove a blocker completely from combat, which is really, really nice. And like I said, it's also a really good sacrifice and reanimation fodder as well for Alicia and, I say, High Society Hunter, because, you know, it comes back, you know, draws you a card if it's sacrificed to High Society. So yeah, really like Frenzy Goblin here. It's a really nice inclusion in the set. Not my favourite Goblin for a reprint. I am still holding out one day that Mog Maniac, my beloved, gets a reprint, but I really like Frenzied Goblin, and I really like it in this deck, actually. Right, and then we've got 2 Goblin Oriflamme. 1 red enchantment, gives all your attacking creatures +1/+0. Just a really nice, you know, straightforward buff for rewarding you for doing exactly what you want to be doing, which is just swinging with all your small aggressive creatures anyway. We've got 3 Goblin Surprises, which I really like. This is a really nice multifunction. I love it when a card has, you know, modality to it. So 2 in a red. Creature control get +2/+0 till 10. That's absolutely fine. That's like Burn Bright or Trumpet Blast, or you make 2 Goblin tokens and at instant speed, so it's, you know, like instant speed Dragon Fodder or Krenko's Command. Really like this because both those modes are useful. You're either, buffing up your attacking creatures, or you're making more token creatures to attack with and get raid triggers with. So yeah, really like Goblin Surprise. And then 3 Sure Strike. This is just a really solid combat trick. 1 red to give something +3/+0 on first strike to land turn. At instant speed, giving something first strike and a pretty sizable power boost is always going to mess up combat math. So yeah, this is a really nice combat trick. I really like it. Then we're going to talk about what stops them winning. So we're playing black-red, so a few removal options here. Not as many as you might expect, because we are obviously going more in sort of like creature-based, just kind of attacking. That's our removal. Our creatures are our removal. We've got 3 Perforating Artists, 1 a black and a red for a 3/2 with Death Touch, and it has a raid trigger at the beginning of your end step. If you attack this turn, each opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. So just really mean it's going to be taking something. Again, it doesn't need to swing itself. I mean, you could, because it's 3/2 Death Touch. It's kind of a pain to deal with, especially if you can give it, first strike with Sure Strike or whatever. But yes, that's the thing. You could just swing with like a little, goblin token, and then you've got your opponent then has to make this horrible choice. Right, either lose some life, or I have to discard a card, or I have to sacrifice a non-land permanent. So yeah, honestly, you could just grind them down with that. You probably don't want to play the long game, but it's just adding this extra bit of removal, and like they do have some choice in what they can do. Which makes it, you could argue like, oh, if they've got choice, they can just do the thing that has the least effect. But it's repeatable and it's not costing you anything extra. And again, like with Alicia and the Seer Slicer, it's an effect that happens that you get the benefit the turn you play this. And if you have multiples of them out, then you're laughing. And also, it's nice and cheap as well, so if it does die, Alicia can bring it back as well. And then just 4 stabs, 1 black to give something -2/-2 to land turn, which is just good for killing off either smaller creatures or just finishing off maybe a bigger one that's taken some combat damage already. We're going to quickly talk about the mana base. So we've got 4 Temple of Malice, enters tapped when it enters Scry 1 and gives you black or red. I love these temples are now. As I am an old Magic the Gathering player, I remember when these first came out in original Theros, and they were the absolute rage, and they were really expensive to get hold of, and now they've been reprinted so much that it is genuinely a budget land, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, I thought we'd have them in here, because it's a casual deck, doesn't mean we don't have to skimp on the mana base. It's still a good idea to obviously have these temples in there, and having the extra, Scry 1 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's it's still useful. And then 11 mountains and 9 swamps. So I'd love to know what you think about this deck. Obviously, it's a very straightforward deck. It is just attack, and get some benefits for doing that. But yeah, I thought that'd be a fun thing. I was really happy that Black-Red got Raid in Foundations, because it is one of my, is a mechanic I really, really like. So I'd love to know what you think about this deck. Is it a deck that you'd like to play? Are there any changes you make to it? Do you have a friend or family member who would like this kind of strategy of just kind of Black-Red, super aggro, just attack, and just math is for blockers, that kind of thing? Really like to know what you think. So stick a comment down below with any thoughts or stories or comments or opinions you've got, and I'll be back next time with another Foundations Get deck. So I hope you join me for that. Until then, thanks for watching and listening, and have a great day.